Hooray. Hooray is a very strong word, I suppose. But we got it done again with good timing and good pacing. I think I'm going to close out of that with this up. I think I'm going to have tabs out. This has to be me. There's no reason I should be doing this. All right, hang on. This is amazing. This is exactly how I planned on doing this live. Sorry, clicking through this, trying to avoid overloading this MacBook CPU. But overall, a quality game. Played through all 4 quarters. Ended up getting Miles Turner in foul trouble early and often, and it did pay dividends. So with that in mind, honestly, one of the best performances we've seen of Lauri Markkanen and Collin Sexton as a duo this season. Definitely pleased with what we saw from both of them from a shooting standpoint, even though Jordan Clarkson didn't have the most amazing and out of the box characteristic shooting performance, he was still solid himself. So with that in mind, I think everybody was really good. Jazz are the best that ever was. We cannot be beating super team. Man, Zach, I wish. He said rough night as an Eagles fan. Needed every small win I can get right now. Yeah, the Eagles sold. If the Suns could just drop 3 in a row, please. Man, unfortunately, Bradley Beal picked the right time to come back from injury, which was the wrong time for us. Honestly, at this point, any game the Jazz play at home, they aren't a 10.5 or more favorite is just disrespectful. Borderline. Watching Jazz home games always confuse me why people don't want to play in Utah. Playing in front of a playoff level crowd every night is so sick. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people also don't realize that, there's not that many professional sports teams. Utah doesn't have its own football team. So this, for a lot of people, the NBA is a really big thing for them. Case in point, that's why they're able to provide that level of atmosphere on a nightly basis. Manny. Oh, man. Appreciate it, Manny. I'm glad to have you join the fold, man. How's it going? Nice. The fans were so hyped after Keyonte's third 3. Yeah. Efficiency. It's crazy what efficiency will do to somebody. It turns people into believers, realistically. Enjoy your Chris Dunn video. Thank you, Kurt. I try to do my best justice. Next on the chopping block is actually Jordan Clarkson, and he's had some pretty decent games overall the past couple games. So it will help my narrative overall for what I'm trying to paint the picture of as Picasso, and I am greatly appreciative of him doing that for me. So we'll see how smoothly it ends up going. But I think that video will do well because I do have we have a decent Filipino audience. They don't comment really in our live streams, but apparently they watch them. So shout out to those fans of the Utah Jazz and Jordan Clarkson in the Philippines that also frequent the channel. Appreciate you guys. He said they were already cheering before he took the 4th one. Yeah. See, Zach already welcoming Manny in. What's up, Tyson? How's it going, man? I can only imagine if he hit that one. Yes, sir. The OKC game is going to be a big test for his team. Absolutely. That's the biggest one out of this entire home stretch. That's really going to be a test because OKC is the real deal. Not only are they hot, but they're legitimately just a well-built team, right? So whether it be at home or on the road, there's no really easy way to play them. They're not like the Celtics where they're unbeatable at home and then decent enough on the road. They're just a very solid team that's very grounded. And positionally, they can go 1-for-1 with really anybody. He said, and honestly, we should forgive 2 of Clarkson's misses because he got the ball under the second. Yeah. Got to beat the Warriors too. Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm not concerned about the Warriors right now. That's a crazy thing for me to say, to go ahead and possibly underestimate somebody, but I'm willing to say it because they just lost to – I lost my graphic. If I had the graphic, I would show you guys. But literally, they lost to the Grizzlies, who are without literally 6 or 7, give or take 2, and key pieces in the rotation, not just Job, but like Desmond Bain was out. There was quite a few people that were out. So it was really Jaren Jackson Jr., bench pieces, and they clapped Curry and everybody else, which is crazy. So if that's the Warriors team that's going to come into our arena and play, I'm not going to lie. It's going to be bad for them, not us. It's going to get real ugly because Chris Dunn is going to make Curry have a long night. And then when Curry has a long night, nobody else is going to shoot well. But then again, every now and then they end up somebody just ends up turning into Jesus in our stadium. So, let me backtrack a little bit, but I do expect us to win handedly. After seeing this performance, they're in trouble. We're not. They're in trouble. We said, now we a good team, LMAO, way to play with our emotions. we were a good team as soon as we switched around our rotation. And now everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon, but it's too late. This is the same team that I predicted would be a possible 6 seed at the beginning of the season. The tape is there. The tape is there. And now I can finally talk my trash, because before I was like, dang, was I wrong? Like the Jazz had me really looking at a wall like, maybe this isn't for me. Maybe I'm mentally challenged. But no, surprise, surprise. They ran the right lineups. Everybody bought into their roles. Everybody's relatively egoless. Even the guys with egos have team egos, right? Jordan Clarkson, still off the bench, a lot better, a lot more controlled, a lot more well-tempered, right? Collin Sexton, just an animal all the time. High level of intensity. You can't teach effort. He's diving for loose balls. He's trying to make plays that he physically cannot make, but he's still going to try anyways because that's just the type of guy he is, right? You can't make that stuff up. And it's contagious for the rest of your guys. Then you have Fontecchio just showing that he's beneficial. And he had an efficient shooting night tonight, right? He was 3 of 5 of the field, 2 of 3 from 3. Calm little good shooting night. He needed one to get back and back because he had a bounce back game after a slump. Then he went and missed all his shots last game, but was a plus 18, I think. And then coming in this one, had a really good game, right? Now, of course, we were aided by the fact that obviously Tyrese Haliburton was not in this game, but we also did the right things to keep everybody else from making the right plays to win the game. They shot 40% from the field, 38 of 95, right? It's hard to win a game when you're shooting 29% from 3 and you make 9 out of 31, as well as shooting 40% from the field overall. Pretty hard, especially on the road in somebody else's stadium. We got the job done, straight like that. We said, yeah, they definitely lost that game. Yeah. Jazz are negative 17 against the Warriors. Should be the line. That's crazy. Kuminga actually might go off on Clarkson. He wants vengeance. Another one. Yes, sir. King Key, you already know. He said, has Sexton cemented himself as part of the core? I think so. His size, you said his size scares you, but he plays so hard every night. That's the thing, right? If we were talking about the Sexton that we saw last season, I would say no, right? I would say he's still kind of trade bait. Yes, he's playing well, but he's trade bait. But he has literally become a type of player that a lot of people didn't see him being capable of doing, right? They didn't see the playmaking coming. They didn't see the change of pace. The change of pace has been such a grand addition to his game because we know he's fast. He's one of the fastest in the league. Bar really, De'Aaron Fox? Westbrook is a little tapered off, right? He's still fast, but he's not the fastest. De'Aaron Fox is effectively the fastest to me. But he's one of the fastest after surgery still, right? He just needed to figure out how to turn on and off the gas, right? He has that nitro, but it felt like before he just was mashing that thing until there was nothing left in the tank. Now he's like, stop, start, like little taps every now and then, just little bursts here and there, a little hezzy, a little bit of an in and out, a lot more decisive with his motions. And when he gets downhill, there's a plan. It's not just jump airborne and try and make a shot or try and throw a pass that ends up being a turnover or, try and draw the foul and fumble with the ball and it goes out of bounds and the ref don't give it to me. No, it's very decisive in the way that he attacks. And that alongside Lauri's just immaculate efficiency, right? He was 10 of 15 today, 2 of 4 from 3, 10 of 10 from the free throw line. You can't make it almost cursed. You can't make this shit up. He's like that, right? And when you have a duo that can play that cohesively well, today Collin had a great shooting night as well. They both shot above 60% from the floor. If you can't stop, like a lot of guys know how to stop Lauri because he's the heart and soul of the Utah Jazz team. But if you can't stop Collin Sexton, it makes things very difficult. Well, if you can't stop Lauri Markkanen or Collin Sexton, you're just consenting to the whooping of the century, basically, right? Your hopes of winning they're gone. You're gonna have to hope that Will Hardy just leaves Jordan Clarkson in the game. Jordan Clarkson is shooting terrible from the field and ends up out shooting both Sexton and Markkanen, and that hasn't happened yet. So it's tough for some people out here. If you're not a defensively disciplined team like the Celtics or who else? Or the Kings, right? A lot of teams are going to struggle against this duo because they're just not prepared for it. And it's crazy to see how quickly things circled around off the Donovan Mitchell trade. We're not even talking about the Rudy Gobert pieces. We're talking about the Donovan Mitchell pieces, the duo. They were like, yeah, we'll take Lauri, but we really want Collin. And then Collin wasn't really panning out at the beginning, right? And then he had to recover from the injury. And then Lauri was the big piece. And they're like, oh, yes, we got this amazing start. And then Collin said, hey, I'm here. Hey, guys. And that's all she wrote, right? Now we need to be able to sustain this, right? I'm really hype and happy about it because I'm a big Collin Sexton guy. I'm a big Lauri Markkanen guy. But at the end of the day, we need to make sure this isn't just lightning in a bottle. This is a continuous thing that we can strain out across the season. And the way they're playing in their particular play style, the chemistry can only get better, right? Unless a trade happens that's super significant, the chemistry is not going to take a hit. So the only thing that's really going to affect this team is shooting slumps. And when you're in a slump, you can get out of a slump. But with chemistry, it's a lot harder to build chemistry. So once they found it, they found everybody's roles and everybody's on the same page. I like where they're at. And I think it is sustainable for this season, at the very least, right? I don't make any guarantees beyond the offseason because a lot of people do different things in the offseason, right? For Pete's sake, we thought Lauri was going to have a slow start because not only did he play FIBA, but he also served in Finland's military. But he said, no, I'm like that. Calm down. And then he came in and he was sparking, and he's been sparking ever since, right? Very few poor shooting night games. And I'll go to the metrics real quick, but let me see what y'all saying in the comments. But yeah, Manny, I do think Collin has cemented himself. This recent stretch of starts for him this year specifically have really done the trick for me personally. I understand like defensively, his size creates some challenges. But when you pair him along somebody that's very defensively capable, such as the Chris Dunns of the world, it makes things a lot more stomachable because you don't have two liabilities. You have one kind of liability because he's simply not big enough. It's not that he's not giving effort because he's there. But sometimes if you're 6'1" and you're putting your hand up on somebody that's 6'8", right? Your hand might come here. His eyeballs are up here. So the effort's always there. The tenacity is always there. The intensity is always there. You can't teach intensity. You can't teach heart. And those two things he has. And he's like that bulldog for the team that keeps the motor going. Whether they're up 15 or down 7, right? He's going to play the exact same way the entire time. And that's the level of intensity that you have to appreciate because everybody just doesn't have that dog. Everybody's not cut that same way. Everybody's brain doesn't process the game the same way. They don't love the game the same way. But we're glad to have him on our side, right? And so I would like to keep him long term. Plus he's still younger than Lauri. So he's 25, I believe. He's 25, Lauri's 26. So I like the duo. I like the duo. You said the Warriors might actually be upset about the last matchup in SLC. They were by 4 or 5 with the ball and 14 seconds left and dropped the game. Well, unfortunately, they're not built like the Warriors that were the last time. I mean, physically, they're similar makeup, but the skill just isn't there anymore. They're a very defeated team. Losing to the Grizzlies, the hampered Grizzlies, not the healthy job back from suspension Grizzlies. No. The hampered, down and bad Grizzlies. Like, I can only imagine what it was like as a Grizzlies fan. It was like Christmas. A win just fell in your lap today that you did not think you were going to get against the greatest shooter of all time and his mostly healthy team. I'm not going to lie. Andrew Wiggins is concerning, bro. I'm gonna have to look into him because he's bordering. I saw somebody say he's bordering Ben Simmons level questionability because he's been that poor lately, right? And the fall off is ridiculous because he's 28. The guy's 28. He's not even like a lot of guys are reaching their prime or about or like steadily in their prime. He's just in no man's land. And I don't know who stole his powers, what he had. If somebody has a bounty on something, or if somebody said they're betting the under, they're betting the over the entire time, and he better not hit the over, or else his family's gonna get kidnapped. I don't know if this is a taken situation. I don't know, but it's bad, and it shouldn't be. I can't conceivably think of a reason why he plays the way that he does, but I hope that he continues to, against us at least, right? I wish for his further success, but not against us. Not against us. No, not time. You said we were all confused by the Jazz starting so slow. Yeah, the lineup they decided to roll out in the beginning of the season was a rough decision, but they righted the ship, right? Will Hardy is a man of change and growth, right? Unlike Quinn Snyder, who was a very stout, this is what it is, this is we're gonna ride till the end of time. Will Hardy's more willing to admit, number one, that he's capable of making mistakes, and number two, when adjustments need to be made, and he's done that, and it's paying dividends now. He said, anyways, I'll be back in a bit. Gotta drive home. Yes, sir. Drive safe, Tatum. Maybe I'm mentally challenged about that. Yeah, it'd be like that. What's up, Zay? Ruger? Yes, sir. Yo, that's your first comment in here, ain't it? Ruger, that's your first comment in here. How's it going, my guy? Yes, sir. So basically the Jazz are just really good now, I guess. Do I say good or really good? I would say we have really good chemistry, which makes us a good team. I don't know. Interesting. On one website, I saw Lauri, they marked him as having 5 assists and had Collin Sexton as having 6. But on the NBA website, their staff department has him having 3 assists and Sexton having 5. Interesting. I wonder if that'll change or if that's a permanent stay. Either way, more assists than usual for Lauri. So I love that playmaking sense. It's like he saw the video and said, I think I am a first option. Let me show you. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. Excuse me, big dog. My apologies. I was not familiar with your game, apparently. He said, what is going to really tell the season how – oh, wow. What is going to really tell the season is how – okay. Is how you react to it when adversity hits again. They know they can play with anyone. They just need a few solid games to cement that confidence. For sure. I think that road stretch really did a lot. Obviously, there was some missing pieces, but against the Nuggets, coming back home, first game back off of all of that, just being able to deal with a healthy Nuggets team. Not just, Nuggets, no Aaron Gordon. Not Nuggets, no Jamal Murray. Not Nuggets, no MPJ. Not Nuggets, no, what's his name? Jokic, right? Healthy Nuggets, right? And of course, we usually play better against them, but just being able to playing well against somebody every single time doesn't always happen. So you can't always predict, oh, we beat them last time, we'll beat them again. Like the league is too volatile for that. So being able to handle business, coming right back home and standing on it, really big game then. And then just this entire homestand, beating some quality teams, beating some teams that are in turmoil, and then just standing on business against teams that are okay. But we got to remind them, hey, you're in our arena now. You're not at home. You're on the road. So we're going to show you what this road hit like. Now enjoy the bus ride home. Or if you bought a plane, you better hope it's first class tickets. Because I'm not going to lie, your knees are going to be hurting after that one. And you're going to want to stretch those legs out. Enjoy. That's how I take it. And I love it. Hardy really worked magic on Sexton, man. 100% agree with you. The size is my only issue, but he scores like 25 to 30. It's hard to argue against him. Exactly. And he's a good sport too. Mind you, he dropped 30 in 24 minutes. He dropped 30 on 64% shooting with only 1 turnover in 24 minutes and 16 seconds. Even if you are a defensive liability, if you can do that in 24 minutes, I could pull you off and put somebody that's better defensively on the court. It's hard to argue against that, right? That efficiency is just, it's good. It's really good. Living it. Mitchell, he said, it's too easy for the Jazz. This was a quality to the point when there was no doubt in my mind at all. So I think I just have trauma from Donovan when it comes to size. LOL. Yeah, true, 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 true. I might sound crazy and biased, but I think Sex should get some All-Star recognition. Yes, yes. I'm willing to entertain it, Zay. Now, obviously, I'm one of the biggest Colin Sexton guys out there. That said, I think the rough-ish start to the beginning of the season is what will hamper him ultimately. But I think that people should, at the very least, you know, say something, right? There should be a little bit of rumbling in the water. He should get some votes. Maybe not enough to get in, but, you know, get something. Because at the end of the day, he's done a lot. He's done a lot. He's become a much better player. And I think, honestly, for me, he's my most improved player. Now, of course, I could be. He's my most improved player. Now, of course, I could be leaving somebody out that's drastically, just made a lot better, made just become a lot better. Somebody could put in the comments if somebody else is like an obvious front runner, and I'm just completely neglecting them right now. But to me, he's made the most noticeable difference, not just from a scoring perspective, but from a play style perspective. It's one thing to score more points. It's one thing to be more efficient. It's a whole other thing to change your game. It's kind of like when players that rely on athleticism get jumpers and like get floater packages and like learn more of a change of pace and do that sort of thing because they're getting older and they physically cannot play as they played before. Like being able to do that and do it at a very high level is very underrated and not always often appreciated. They just look at the numbers going higher. Ooh, Kobe White. Kobe White, my God, I'm not gonna lie. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, Kobe White, my God, I'm not gonna lie. Kobe White has been doing something serious this season. He's been doing the most with his opportunity. So if he gets it, I'm not going to be mad because that's justified. That's very justified, actually. We said Jazz about to be the Warriors by 30. It would not surprise me, actually. Like, I'm going to say over 20. I'm going to say over 20. Call me crazy, but over 20. I don't see a world where we don't outscore them by 5 every quarter. Wiggins has negative trade value right now. Crazy. That's nasty. Right, I don't know for sure, but I think the Jazz currently have the longest winning streak in the NBA as of this week. Yes, correct. Yep, including this one, yes. Because I think we were tied 2 games ago with somebody, but we're definitely ahead now. Dallin, yes, sir. How's it going, my guy? You said, God, I love having a flexible coach. Exactly. Somebody willing to be wrong, but also willing to make adjustments, right? It's not about being wrong. It's about doing what do you do when you make a mistake? Do you own it and keep growing, or do you sit there and act like it never happened? Right? Because those are 2 different things. Do you think the Jazz have a chance to win against the Thunder? I definitely think so, right? In a home game, right? If the Thunder are fully healthy, it's going to test us. But my thing will be, I wouldn't be less focused on us winning and more so focused on us playing a quality game. We cannot get dismantled at home by the OKC Thunder, right? Because that's another young team that we're going to have to deal with for years and years to come. All those guys are in our age pool, a little bit younger probably, right? Because Clarkson's on the older age, but you think of SGA, you think of Lou Dort, you think of Chet, you think of Giddey. Like all those guys are young. So these are the same guys we're going to be seeing 5, 7, 8 years from now. So we have to go ahead and get working now because there's no other way around it. This is a test that you're going to continually face. And every time, once we become a solidified playoff team, there's going to be a team we're going to see every playoffs. Granted, if we don't lose to somebody else, right? If we handle business and we go further on, and everybody continues to improve, everybody gets better, and we see growth from the young guys that we have on the roster, we're going to be seeing them consistently, right? So we have to be able to right now make a statement and say, we're not no pushovers. We might not be able to beat you now, but one thing for sure, and 2 things for sure, we're not a joke and we're here to stay, right? This win streak is not a fluke. Us turning the tables and winning double as many games as we've lost isn't a joke. We're serious about it. And that's one of those big things that that's a statement game for us, right? Just like the Nuggets game coming back home was a statement game, in my opinion. I think the game against OKC is, for a different reason, obviously, but a statement game nevertheless. Genie, you said, what up, Colin Sexton, straight ball, top ramen. You already know. In 24 minutes, 30 plus, it's tough on 64% shooting from the field. We said, Jeannie, you said, oh, what's up? Oh, what's up, Jeannie? This is your first comment ever. You said Lauri and the team are on fire. Much love from Finland. Do you think they're going to make the playoffs? I think they will. I think they will. I'm prepared to make that stance. A couple games ago, I was on the fence. I was like, playing. I'm prepared to buy in now, right? We're what, one game past, halfway through the season now? I think this is the genuine Utah Jazz team. So even if we reach some rough patches, it's never going to be as bad as what y'all saw and had to endure that first 20 games of the season. It will not get that bad the rest of the season. Bar crazy injury, I don't see a world where we see some significant change in the way they play. So the games will always be competitive. And even if we do, end up bottoming out and being like 50-50 in a lot of games, right? I can go. Here's the thing. We played so bad in the first half of the season, but we played so good, we recovered all of the trashness that there was. And at the midway point, we were one game over 500. I think as a better team, even if we lose some more games going on, right? If this streak of greatness doesn't continue, even if we lose some more games and things are a little bit more contested, we're still going to be in a position to where we're winning more games than we're losing. So I think this is quite possibly, let me think, a 45, 47 win team, definitely. In my opinion, right? Now, that's, of course, subject to change. I think another quarter of the season, another month into the season, February time, we'll see like how well that stands. But I'm ready to say we're definitely a 45 win team. I'm not going to say 50, but I think we're definitely a 45 win team because we were on pace for 42 wins, right, at the midway point after that great stretch. So as long as we don't regress and become complete hot dog water, right, it's going to be a thing where we're capable of continuing things. And I find it reliable. For sure. Yeah. As far as seed wise, I said 6 at the beginning of the season, so I'm gonna stick there. I don't know how the rest of the league is gonna go. With tiebreakers, just records, just injuries, everybody across the Western Conference, anything can happen. A lot of these teams that even aren't in the playoff picture should be in the playoff picture at times. They just haven't figured things out. So I don't trust that the Lakers and the Warriors are going to be trashed this entire year. But that said, I think we will continually be this competitive team that we've been. And for that reason, I trust us over a lot of the other teams that are currently in slumps from the long term, playing the long game, if I'm being honest. You said, I do think they have a chance. And it will be a heck of a game against OKC. As long as we match their energy, I think they will have a chance against them for sure. For sure. Key is learning so quickly. John Collins is confident in his game. It's Fantecchio time. Hey, I'm not going to lie. The role players have really stepped up. We had how many people in double figures today? We had Lauri and Sexton. But we also had John Collins had 10. Clarkson had 17. Keyonte had 19, right? And we went 2, 4. We went 10 deep today. We went 10 deep, so I'm not mad at that. Well, actually, we went 12 deep because we gave Luka and Omer 2 minutes and 48 seconds, basically, 3 minutes of play time at the very end there. But I'll say we went 10 deep technically. So it's pretty good. Pretty good. Key is looking so much more comfortable out there. Dude has it. Yeah. He looked a little uncomfortable at a time at the beginning of the season, but man, he's so good. Yeah, thrusting him in the starting role obviously was a issue for us. We wanted to get him some play time, get him some minutes to see what he could really do, and ended up backfiring a little bit, put mildly, because we also started him alongside Jordan Clarkson. And if you're a rookie, that's probably not the most ideal situation for you, especially if you're trying to learn how to be a point guard and the future point guard of the organization. Playing alongside Jordan Clarkson might not be the best situation, and we saw that. But after they switched him down to the bench, installed Chris Dunn as a starter, have Collin Sexton starting. Things have gotten a lot better from the starting unit standpoint, but also from the bench, they're a lot more solidified and comfortable in the minutes, right? He's playing 20 to 27-ish minutes a night. He played 23 minutes, 44 seconds, so 24 minutes today, 6 of 11 from the field, right? That's the kind of efficiency you can live with. 3 of 7 from 3, we can live with that, right? We don't want too many 1 of 7 games. We don't really want too many 1 of 5 games, but those games are going to happen regardless. He's a rookie, right? But the level of growth that he's seeing, and we're seeing more consistency out of his game. Not consistent L's, not consistent misses, but consistent makes. That's the growth portion that we were really looking for and hoping for when he was starting, and we didn't really get. but us being able to see it now and have it in front of our faces on a nightly basis is a lot better. It's going to build his confidence, and he's going to just become more on it as time goes on. Let me see. You said is Sexton solidifying himself as a Jazz second best player? I think so. I don't think anybody's taking that from him. Honestly, if I'm being honest with you. No, yeah. I think he's done enough. I think he's done enough to prove that. Can the Jazz win on the road is the question. They played pretty well during that last stretch, right? There were a couple missing pieces here and there. The only game that was completely out of the question was against the Celtics. The Celtics dismantled us badly. We recovered well, though, because I thought that we were going to lose to the Celtics and things were going to get really, really ugly, like going forward. Like it was going to be just a residual effect of not playing well that first game, and they're just going to drag the rest of the road trip. It didn't, right? Won out the rest of the road games. So I think that this is what you see is what you get. We're just slightly better at home than we are on the road these days now. We said Kiba, what's up, my guy? Hey, Dink, yes sir, another good win. Absolutely. He said, "Good W, let's get it." Hey, can't make it up. Can't make it up. All I'm saying is we're 7-1 when I go to the game. Hey, Dink, I'm not gonna lie, you might have to go to every game. I wonder how THT feels being a starter one game and now can't even get into the garbage time. I'm not a fan of him. There's something happening you don't know about. So the biggest thing with THT is not so much that he's trash, right? Because during that second stint of like 3 or 4-ish starts that he had, he played well. The issue was he got injured right after that. So you went THT, Keyonte. Keyonte played rough. Keyonte got hurt. Okay, THT back in the starting lineup. Well, THT played well, but then THT got hurt. And they were like, uh-oh, we're not going to go Keyonte again. Let's go Chris Dunn. So they installed Chris Dunn, and Chris Dunn did what they needed their point guard to do. They didn't need a scoring, finesse type point guard. They needed a dimer. They needed a floor general. They needed a defensive point of attack defender. And that's what Chris Dunn was. He satisfied the role and their needs that they needed. So what happened was Chris Dunn was the solidified starter, bar none, no questions asked, right? Then you had Keyonte George, who obviously when he comes back, he's the rookie, but he's supposed to be the prodigy that's going to eventually take the reins from whoever is starting over him right now, give it, a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons maybe, and eventually be that guy. So he's going to get minutes anyways. There's only 48 minutes in a game, right? So you have Collin Sexton and Jordan Clarkson and a little bit of Ochai Bashi splitting at the shooting guard spot. And then you have Chris Dunn and Keyonte George at the point guard spot. And it's hard to argue that any of those 5 guys don't deserve 20 minutes. So at that point, there's no time for THT. It's not so much that he's playing bad or he got into it with people. It's just there's no time for him to play. And it's rough. It's a pretty grim reality for him at this point, and I think that's why he might be the only guy that ends up seeing a trade this season, because everybody else plays pretty much and they have solidified roles and everything. But for him, there's so much that he can do, and he is a solid player. He just didn't really fit the needs of the team at the time. And then by the time he did, when he got hurt, it basically opened the door for his spot to get taken again. And that's what happened, basically. You said, do you know how many games out are the 6th spot? That is a great question. Google. We're going to look at the Western Conference. Western Conference teams. Oh. We'll look at standings. NBA, don't fail me now. That's the Eastern Conference. That's not what I'm looking for. Western Conference. Okay, so 6th seed is currently the Dallas Mavericks. 7th seed is the Pelicans, but we have the tiebreaker of the Pelicans as it stands. Now the Pelicans are, fun fact, we're 2-1 in overtime. Not that it actually matters, but 15-5 at home, 7-15 on the road. So that road trip definitely helped us out because we were getting pieced on the road before. We're currently at 9th, right? Games back from 6th, we are 2.5. We're 2.5 games, really out of 5th, because the Kings, the Mavericks, and the Pelicans are all 5 games back from the front. So we're 7.5 games back from the front. So we're 2.5 games out from the 6th. From the 8th seed, we are half a game out from the Phoenix Suns. But, we're gonna see how things go. How do you realize what we all did in regards to THT? LOL. Yeah. What's up, gang? Jazz and 5. Yo, Chris, you're a fool. But yeah, Pacers pack. There's Cam. I knew he was gonna pop up eventually. How's it going, my guy? Said I can't believe we got Sexton and Lauri on such a steal and trade, and that's the craziest part. And then when you think about the fact that the Gobert trade hasn't even like really panned out the way that we expected it to just yet, but we see what's potentially going to happen, right? That's good. That's really good. In fact, it's great because not only did we get even return, but we also have a million draft picks in the fold and other pieces that we're still waiting to figure out how we're going to develop. So there's a lot of things that we can do right, and there's a lot of things we can get away with doing wrong. I don't think a lot of people talk about that. There's a lot of mistakes that they can make, even from just a draft perspective. We can draft so many terrible players and still be a good team. But the thing is, we have to be a good team. Now, with much opportunity becomes much expectation. So we can't sit here and have all these chances to do all these great things and then sell. That's unacceptable. It's not allowed to happen. But I have faith that they're going to get the job done. Danny Ainge did, credit to him. We were questioning him a little bit. I'm not going to lie, but credit to him. The immediate trades that happened between when they first blew it up are paying dividends now. And this is what we really needed these guys to do. Everybody's locked in. Everybody knows the role. Everybody know their niches. Really, everybody's playing so well cohesively. We went from saying, should we trade? Who should we trade? Is everybody available? Should we trade Lauri? To saying, matter of fact, don't trade to anybody. These guys are tough. And that's something you can't say enough about. And I feel like, yes, a lot of people are going to jump on the bandwagon and say, oh, of course they're good now, But it's like, okay, how many of you believed at the beginning of the season, right? How many of you looked at the roster before the season started and said, this is a 40-plus win team? None of you did. So don't lie and hop on the Jazz bandwagon now, right? The team is the heart of the entire area, right? That's why when you come to the games and you see the games on TV, it's live in there because you can't make up what they have. That's a lot of people. You go to sports events and you watch games to escape reality, right? And for the Utah Jazz, there's no football team out there. So the Jazz are effectively that entire, they shoulder that entire burden. So the expectation is that they improve and they get better every single time. And that's what they've done this year. And we're seeing the fruits of those labors. Now, do I expect them to sit here and win out and, go on they're 9-1 in their last 10, right? Do I expect them to go 9-1 across the next 10, the next 10, the next 10, the next 10? No. But I don't see them going 2-8 anymore, right? And that's a big thing. Because then you're effectively putting yourself in a situation where you're going to have more wins than losses than you had at the end of the season. Which means you beat every analyst's expectations, except for mine, because I saw it coming. And then I get to brag about it, right? And then all the Jazz fans are happy about it. And then the rookies get a lot of playoff experience. And that's going to be the next step, right? We're not going to do great in the playoffs. I would like to not be in the play-in. That's why I would really love to be a 6th seed, right? Would I hate if they were in the play-in? No, but I prefer not to because I'd like to have also a more favorable matchup. But if whatever the case may be, plus 6th seed will end up likely being against the Nuggets because the Nuggets are at 3 right now. That said, I like it. I like the play. You can't make it up. We said, Carlo, you said Abaji and Fontecchio taking THT spot, and those two play defense. Not even them, though. But effectively, they erased him from the lineup. Yeah, that would be true. What are your thoughts on Taylor Hendricks? What do you think his time? Oh, that's a good one, Manny. Okay, so I do need to make an update video on Taylor Hendricks, actually. I was debating on when I was going to do it. I might just do a talking head one. I know I do like a lot of the ones with clips now with my editor, but that usually puts me in a situation where I'm dropping like 2 videos a week. I might do just a couple check-in videos about different players. Just let me know how y'all feel about that. If it rubs y'all either way, honestly. But yeah, I do need to talk about him and Bryce's development as well, because we haven't seen much of Bryce in this context on the actual NBA floor, but in the G League, he's been doing things. So With Taylor Hendricks, I think it just took a little bit of time to get him where we wanted to see him. Right now, there's not a lot of minutes for him. He's in a THT kind of situation, but the difference is they see a longer future and a higher ceiling with Taylor Hendricks than there is with THT. For that reason, he's in the G League, right? But every now and then they'll pull him up and they'll be like, all right, if there's some minutes today and there is a blowout, you're playing. Or if this is a game where I think we can play you, we're going to play you. There's no guarantees, but we might be able to fit you in. And so he's played single digit games. He's played like 7, 8-ish, 9-ish games so far. So it's not a terrible sample size. And he's played decent minutes in most of them. Like, it hasn't been completely garbage time minutes. That said, I believe that long term, it's going to be very beneficial for them to go ahead and keep doing him like this. And then once you do, eventually probably move on from Collins or put yourself in a situation where you can just find more minutes for him, let him run. And it's not one of those things where like you have to play him. And that's the thing that I love the most about this team. You don't have to play anybody. You're afforded the opportunity to play people at your leisure, right? And that's the biggest thing, because the guards, it was rocky at the beginning of the season. I felt a certain way about the lineup, and it ended up being this way. And I'm glad that it turned out this way, because that proves not only was I right, but also that it works. That's the bigger thing. Do I like being right? Of course I like being right, but I also like the team winning more than anything, right? Nobody saw Fontecchio doing what he did. Well, the Italians did, but I didn't. And he's doing it, right? He locked down the small forward position by playing the way that he plays, right? Walker Kessler hasn't had the best sophomore season, but he's bounced back from what he looked like at the beginning of the season, and he looks more like himself lately. But John Collins has improved himself. He's like, oh, I'm on the trading block. And the one thing, let me give him a little bit of praise, actually, because the thing about John Collins, it's hard. I realize, like, a lot of people say, oh, this guy's bad. Oh, this guy's playing terrible, whatever the case may be, whatever criticisms, get him up out of here, right? It's one thing for fans to say that. It's a whole nother thing when you when you wake up in the morning and you read a report, when you go on social media, when you go on Twitter and you go to just see what's going on in the news, and somebody says, front office disappointed in his development offensively and the way he's picked up the defense. That's some crazy words. I don't think people actually realize how crazy that is for a front office to just be so forthright and forthcoming with that information. Because that's basically like, they didn't even call him I'm sure they've had conversations with him, but like that getting put into a storing line, and then you wake up one day and that's just what's getting rolled out, and that's what people are running with, you feel like you're trash. And at that point, it's so easy to quit on the team, but he didn't. He said, yes, I know I'm not living up to expectations. Yes, my contract makes me very, very hard to trade for, and probably a lot of teams won't be willing to risk that. But at the end of the day, I'm getting paid, and I do like it here. So I'm going to go harder. And that's what he did. And so I can't say enough about how much I'm happy with John Collins now, because it was at the beginning of the season, I made my video talking about how I felt like he's made some improvements, right? We reached a point where where it was like, came out like, hey, he's not doing enough. And then he took that publicly shaming him effectively, saying, you're not doing enough. And he said, I'm going to work harder. And you see so many different situations where like teams aren't loyal to players, or players just don't care about teams. And just being able to see the situation play out the way that it has, I'm not even pushing for him to get traded at this point, even though I understand that Taylor Hendricks has to be able to take the next step, and probably Collins is going to be that guy that has to move on for that to happen. I'm not going to also force him, because I know Taylor Hendricks, he's not the most ready prospect right now. He has to work on his face-up game. 3 balls there, defense is there, help side defense there, communication there, right? I know he's going to make an immediate defensive impact. We need a little bit more offensively from his own creationist standpoint. We already know he has that 3 ball, right? So he has a little bit more development to happen. And so I think with that time, we can go ahead and let Collins play out. And then if there is an opportunity to trade him later on, just sit him down, let him know what it is, and ship him that way. But right now, I'm very happy with what he's done with his situation, because it was not ideal at all. And the level of tension you have to have coming into the locker room after that is crazy. Because then you're looking at coach, you're looking at the GM, you're looking at everybody else. Like, which one of you clowns sat there and said that to the media? That's really how y'all feel about me. Like, that's crazy. But he did the most. He's done the most, and he continues to step up. But with Taylor Hendricks, I say give it 2-ish, 3-ish seasons. before we really see what he's capable of, right? He's not going to get the Keyonte treatment because we're not that thin at the forward position. We have a lot of them. But I think between what they decide to do with Kelly Olynyk after this season and what happens with John Collins after the season, we'll see more or either a lot more or a little bit more of Taylor Hendricks. He said, I'm going to start talking trash about Abashi. If you don't drop 18 soon, I'm defending. Dude, so hard for him not to average 17 at least. The opportunities aren't always there for Abaji, but at the same time, I completely understand your situation, though. I understand your situation, Cam. Dick, you said this is almost the starting lineup I wanted at the beginning of the season. I wanted Dunn, Sexton, Markkanen, and Collins Kessler. Yes, that's what I had in the beginning of my head. Yes. I never would have guessed Fontecchio, but it's been what we needed. My highest viewed video is Fontecchio. My second highest video, third highest video is Fontecchio as well. So apparently the Italians knew and we just didn't. We weren't privy to the game. We apologize. We were not familiar. You know? Cam, you said Ochai is dope name though. Not gonna lie, his mama cook with that one. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, it is a cool name. I just never thought of it like that. Lakers up on OKC right now. Ooh, that's an interesting development right there. Front office was right about him being NBA ready, the best foreign prospect that was left. Yeah, they did not miss. Teams be missing a lot of things, but they did not miss that one. Flair, that's your first time, bro. Is that your first time in the chat, or have you been here? I don't recognize your profile picture. I think that's what's throwing me off. Is that Woody? It looks like it's Woody. I'm not a Jazz fan, but seeing y'all succeed is nice. Y'all probably going to stomp my Warriors next game. We're going to have to do it, too. I'm not going to lie. Joey, what's good, my guy? Yeah, what a streak is right. What a streak is right. So it's good. Your teeth whiter than the population of Idaho. Man, it's a T-shirt. It's a T-shirt. Make my smile golden. You know. I don't know. The Conley trade was bad unless we get a star with the Lakers pick. True. Overall, we're seeing a lot of decisions pay dividends though. Kuzi, there he is. How was the game? It was a W, brother. It was a quality W. The Lakers pick has a lot of value in my opinion. Fair play. I hope we can play either the Nuggets or the Pelicans. I would love both of them. I would love to play the Pelicans first and then play the Nuggets. Or no. I'd rather play the Nuggets first. I don't want the Nuggets to beat up on somebody and then have their rhythm and beat up on us. That would not be good. So give me the Pelicans because of their lack of playoff success, and then give me the Nuggets second. Bryce has it all on offense. I think he can carve out a role super quick if he can buy in on defense. Yeah, defense was his biggest thing. He's become a significantly better playmaker, and he's narrowed down on his type of shot selection. Because when he was correct me if I'm wrong, I think he was in Ohio. When he was there, he had limitless range, basically. Like whatever shot he wanted to take, he was the hub of the offense, and it went as he did. But the biggest difference between that and obviously at the NBA level is you're put into a niche role, and you need to play that role to perfection. And so that's what a lot of his G League performances have been about. And then obviously locking in on defense and being a serviceable person on that side of the ball. But I do think that he will be very valuable coming forward. Thoughts on Cooper Flag? I hear so much hype, but could he be a bust? Okay. Very interesting that you bring that up. I have a strong – is it strong? I have a kind of strong take on Cooper Flag. My thing with Cooper Flag is I saw a world where I saw somebody literally break down like multiple game tapes. I think it was against the who was it? The Boozer? Carlos Boozer's kids. And it was rough. Like it was rough. You can tell that he plays in a world where he's the only one that can really do anything. Where he's like the hub. Not only is he the hub of the offense, he's the main attraction. He's why people buy tickets for his high school's games. You can tell that by the way that he speaks, the way that he plays. Because a lot of times his court vision is terrible. His in-game IQ is so incredibly low at times. It's scary. It's like scary bad, not scary good. Now, he has all the tools to make things happen. So as a prospect, if you think you can mold him into a better player mentally, I'm all for it, right? Because you can't teach intangibles. You can't teach length. You can't teach height. You can't teach athleticism. Those things just are there. You can kind of improve on them. You can kind of skirt over things, polish things, buff things out. But by and large, you are who you are when you're drafted. And for Cooper Flag, I think his thing is going to be offensive awareness, right? Making sure he finds the open man instead of forcing a shot for himself, and just being in a situation where he's not that guy. If he's in a situation and he plays on a team where there's another alpha who's actually an alpha and he's forced to play second man to him, I think it will make him a better player. Because right now, as the number one, he's not properly utilizing the pieces around him. And so many times the ball just swing it to Cooper, let Cooper cook. And it's like Cooper does the same thing at 4 times in a row and gets stripped 2 of them. And then the other time he does a spin move into a pull-up and he misses the pull-up. But the one that he hits, everybody goes crazy because it's Cooper Flag. And it's like, that's not good. That's actually not good. But he does have all the intangibles to get the job done. It's just going to be a matter of, does he get the help in the training, and is he put into a situation where he is forced to learn? If you give him the option to learn, he might not choose to learn. You have to force him into a situation where he's either succeed and win and learn your role and win games, or lose games and be a poor player, right? If you put him in that situation, I think he will succeed. I think because you'll leave him no choice, right? Nobody wants to fail, and I don't think he wants to fail. I think he likes the game of basketball. I think he likes winning above all else, and I think that if you put him in a situation where he has to get better individually and become more aware, more of a student of the game and less of just a player, right? A kid that plays basketball and more of a student of the game at the same time, I think he'll definitely pay dividends the way that people talk him up to be. But right now, he is overhyped in my eyes, just a touch. He said, I'll never worry about the toss prospect. I've said the fact that Jazz will never draft number 1. True. I always love us getting John Collins. Mm-hmm. Big fan of John Collins, so I'm happy he's improved. For sure. Collins is so used to being on the trade block, he's flourished under pressure for real. Thought it would be easy to give up on the teams. The Hawks fans made it seem like he would give up but not care. For real, Dink. No, you said it. Hypothetically, let's say we did get the number 1 and number 2 pick and get Cooper. I just wonder if he would actually move the needle forward for us unless we trade an already established Jazz player. That is the curious situation. Now, the thing is, you would not have to force him to be a great player immediately. That said, right, there's a high level of expectation because at that point, okay, let's say Walker Kessler has emerged at that point, right? Let's say Taylor Hendricks has also emerged at that point, right? Let's not even take into account Ochai Abashi, right? Are you going to have a world where you have Collin Sexton at the 1, Lauri Markkanen at the 2, Taylor Hendricks at the 3, Cooper Flag at the 4, and like Walker Kessler at the 5? Is that what you're gonna do? Granted, obviously, if you have enough good players on the team, you can make things happen. But at the same time, pieces have to work. So I don't know if the Jazz would go that route. I don't know if they would go the guard route. I think if everything that the Jazz have on their team right now pans out the way they hope it does, they might not even need most of the draft picks they have, which is a great problem to have, but also one that puts you in a weird situation that a lot of teams almost never experience, right? Because a lot of teams aren't capable of trading away a player and getting such a haul back. They just don't have the pieces for that. They don't have the facilities for that. But yeah, for sure. It's interesting. You said at least the type of position he already plays. Yeah. Zach said his mama did cook, not gonna lie. Yeah, they did. The moment Cooper opens his mouth, I think he's a bust. Game is nice though. Nah, the way he interacts in interviews is kind of funny to me. Isaac, what's good, my guy? He said, I'm glad I found this channel. I listen to Locked On Jazz. God, there's another Jazz fan that takes on YouTube. For sure. It's great. You do the great work, man. I hope Keyonte George be a solid player soon. Well, I'm glad that you came this way, and I'm glad that you find it interesting. You know what I'm saying? I am ecstatic that you decided to join the fold, and I hope that you continue to, pop into a few live streams, watch a couple videos, like a couple videos, maybe become a member of the channel at some point, But I'm definitely glad that you enjoy it here. Makes me happy. And the rest of the guys appreciate it too. I'm sure they do. Did he actually cook? Bradley Beal. kind of, but it's difficult to say because Bradley Beal's like significantly shorter and significantly less physically capable, and also he's not going to go as hard because it's not a game that actually matters. And him getting injured in one of those situations would be very not good, considering he's also been just injured this entire game, or excuse me, not this entire game. The majority of the season, right? We're finally seeing more than 2 quarters of him in action for the first time, like, in a while, honestly. He said you start looking at houses in Park City yet, but once you get up bigger than Lock, you might need to be closer. Sorry to warn you, but it's gonna happen. I don't make the rules. Man, look. Listen, Zach. Once I have the money, to do stuff, when I can go to Zaxby's and order myself 2 meals and eat them both and not worry about what the receipt says, I'll have you help me pick one out. How about that? That's what I'll do. Some dog, you said injured his entire career, basically. Yeah. And Suns fans were cooking on me because they said I didn't know what I was talking about when I said the injuries were going to be a big thing. I literally had Sachin create an entire chart based on their health. And they were like, you acting like injuries are going to be a big thing. This team is too good. They have depth. They have. Guess what, clowns? Guess what? He was injured. Bradley Beal was injured. Devin Booker, what? Ended up having injuries. And so you left who? Kevin Durant with the bench. And there's a significant drop-off from the top 3 to the rest of the guys, right? And Nurkic isn't the most defensively viable player, right? He's been decent, but he hasn't been great. So you saw a lot of situations where they just weren't those guys. Healthy, yes, y'all can give anybody 130, but you also can't stop anybody from scoring 130. Keep in mind, we played these guys on a what was it? It wasn't a back-to-back, but it was 2 games after each other. It was like a Saturday and a Monday game. We played against them. We scored 127 and 133, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it was like 127, 133. And that was with our lineup not being the way it is now, right? That was back when we had guys struggling to find their roles. And you have 133 to a team that was sitting here getting packed up by everybody else. How? Of course, but I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Because Devin Booker's an elite defender. He's going to be in an all-defensive team this year, right? Yeah, because defense isn't your problem either, or health. Silly goose. They are just the silliest gooses on the planet. You know, it's just how it is. He said, "Who do you post Malone's name for real?" Never related that Zaxby's quote more than any other quote. Replace it with any other fast food. For real, Zach. For real. We get Hartstein over Nurkic every day at this point. Yeah, it's to that point. Way better than mine. Appreciate you, Tatum. I mean, I'll say this for a lot of content creators, and I think it's refreshing that I have the opportunity. Like, I don't plan on making my chats like donation only, because who was it? Somebody has their chats as like donations only. I don't do it that way because, like, if people have the money to donate and you're beating their expectations and you're providing them with content, they'll become a member of your channel. They'll subscribe to your channel. They'll super chat every now and then. They'll do whatever. If you have a Patreon, you have a buy me a coffee, whatever it is, they'll support you in that manner. But you shouldn't have to require it, right? There shouldn't be an entry fee to show people you're good at what you do. If you're good at what you do, it'll show and people will reward you because of that. If you feel like you have to set a fee because I'm this big dog, you sound kind of big-headed. You sound really not humble. Not to say that people are, I'm just different. I just approach life a little bit differently than other people. And the fact that the world is full of different people is what makes it so special, because we all don't experience the same first-person point of view. But that's just how I am, I do frequently watch their content every now. I'm lying. I watch their content every now and then, but I don't want to get into an echo chamber where I'm saying something, the same guy agrees, somebody agrees with me, somebody else agrees with me, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm definitely right. I don't want to do that to you guys, because that's selling you guys short. I like being in a situation where somebody says this trade should happen. I'm like, in my own independent thinking human brain, right? with my millions of brain cells, I say, I see what he's saying, but I would rather do this. And that's what I do. Me personally, that's just what I do. I'm not going to take the easy way out and just read an ESPN article and then regurgitate it on video. Anybody can do that, right? Anybody can read a script. It's a lot harder. Like, I don't really have scripts that often. I think sometimes y'all can tell because every now and then, like, I'll space my words out. It shows. But by and large, everything is just it's honest and authentic. That's the most important thing, because everybody's gonna be wrong. Own it when you're wrong, right? Explain why you thought you were right when you were wrong, and then grow from it. That's all. That's what being a content creator is all about, man. Especially when you're trying to represent a sports team, right? Don't misrepresent people and something that they use when they're away from home, right? So many people work 40, 50, 60 hours, and then they come home and their only release is sitting on the couch and watching the game. And then they watch highlights of the game. They watch people talk about the game. And you're going to be one of those people that they watch. And you're going to sell them some BS. That's just not me. That's just, some people will do that, though. You know, to each their own. To each their own. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, man. He said, bro, I hate this paper, not gonna lie. Living in Arizona, I hated it. Booker is only allowed to be an all-star unless his daddy Luka allows it. Yo, nah. I saw him breaking the truce and asking Luka about his kid, you know, since Luka's a daddy now. Babyface Booker overrated. Nah, Booker has escaped so much blame over the entirety of his career. I've never seen something like it before. People have held him to almost no standards ever, if I'm being quite honest with you. He escapes blame all the time. Drinking game, take a shot every time, locks, slurps, whatever is in his mug every morning. Where am I from? Originally, I'm from New York, but I stay in, not in Charlotte, but near Charlotte, North Carolina. So I grew up experiencing Hornets basketball, Bobcats and Hornets. Yeah, so that gives you I'm used to the turmoil and the danger of the game. You know, that's my favorite part. My favorite part as a growing kid. I actually have a sign. It's like out of frame, but it's a Nick Batum jersey, signed by one of my favorite players. Well, obviously I like Nick Batum, but my favorite player of all time is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist. A lot of people say that it's like, who the number one? If you know who Michael Kidd-Gilchrist is, cool. If you do know who he is, you're probably like, why the hell do you like Michael Kidd-Gilchrist? Why is he your favorite player? And me, I was a defense guy. I'm always a defense guy. You can teach people to play defense. You can't teach people to give effort. And I watched that man lock in and play defense all the time with his jumper as wild as it was, as wicked as it was, playing defense the way he played on a nightly basis. And then in the same week, within 3 days, allow LeBron James and then Carmelo Anthony to both get, what was it, 62 and 65 are their respective career highs. They got both of those that week against the Charlotte Bobcats at the time, I believe, when Braun was in Miami. And it happened to Michael Gilchrist, and I watched it on TV as like what? I was I in middle school? Like 13, 14-ish years old. And I watched it. I watched the entire games, both of them. Because that was what loyalty was. And he was trying. They were just better. And that's something that stuck with me. That's why I guess I'm really partial to Collin Sexton in a way, because you can't teach intensity. You can't teach effort, right? Either you give it or it just doesn't exist. And so I refuse to excuse people. I can excuse you if your best is just bad, right? If you're trying and you're just not capable of doing certain things, I'll live with it. But if you're 6'5" and you're rangy and you refuse and you can't lock down somebody that's 6'4", 6'3", 6'2", I don't have sympathy for you. Because you're making a conscious decision not to be a good defender. No. If you're capable of hitting shots and you choose either not to take them, right, or you consciously decide to take a more difficult shot because you want to prove that you're that guy and that a team should build around you or that you're really important to a roster, I have no sympathy for you. I don't like you as a player because you play the game wrong in my eyes. And you know, whatever you do, if you can go to sleep on your pillow at night and you're happy with yourself, congratulations. I wish the best for you, but not on my television screen. I'll change the channel. I will change the channel. Let's see, hoops nerd. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. That's kind of crazy. I kind of understand because he doesn't post a lot of content. I see that he's done a lot more live streams recently, but like outside of that, it's just not my cup of tea. Zaki said, I have like 4 mics better than Locks. I want to go up to him at games and be like, yo, let me give you a guitar to this. Sure as a beer, some basic. Who's makes you pay to say, yeah, that's crazy. He doesn't engage with his viewers at all unless they pay a certain amount. That's crazy. There's a pay limit. It's not just anything. Like that's I don't like that. Is that normal? Do a lot of people do that? I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna sound insane. You can call me filthy liar, but I'm looking at a Zaxby's ad under your vid right now. You already got a sponsor. Man, they should. I worked at Zaxby's for 4 years, right? From when I was 16 to 21. I was a cook, then I was a cashier. Wait, was I cashier first? No, I was a cashier, then I was a cook, then I was a shift manager, then assistant manager, then assistant general manager, and then I was an interim GM. And then when they didn't give me the GM spot and they gave it to, no offense to her, she was a lesbian, but she was also very out of sorts. She didn't know really what she was doing, but she came from like a restaurant, so they gave it to her after I, slaved away for them. I left because why? 4 years? Stop. No, I'd rather do other things. No, you're not gonna play me in my face like that. No, I was not taking that level of disrespect. Absolutely not. But yeah, shout out to Zaxby's though. The food still hits. I will never tell anybody not to go to Zaxby's because I love the food. Man, nuclear and hot honey mustard. If you get a boneless wings and things, get your wings nuclear, fingers hot honey mustard. Yeah. Zach said, for real, Tate, I'm not paying to comment. He was like, nice. He was like that since 500 subs. Okay, let me think. So I could understand if when he was like low key at 500 subs, since he wasn't getting ad revenue, if he really wanted to do it and like that was like some kind of deal thing that he made, I guess I can understand it. But like once you're actually making money from videos, and he has 10,000 subscribers, so he's a lot further along than I am. But to each his own. I mean, if it works and that's the type of community that he likes to have, then power to him. It just won't be me. It just won't be me ever. My month keeps getting better. My laptops and hard drive is so fragmented and my sync is off. So instead of my post game, I'm here tonight. Lee. Oh my goodness. So how are we going to rectify that problem, Lee? Talk to me. What will we do from there? How will we, how will we solve your dilemma, sir? Logic, there you are. I was worried for a second, Logic. I thought I missed you. So did I lose my membership? I might have to fix my card. It got blocked because it was fraud on my account. Maybe your payment didn't go through. I'm sorry, Ray. I don't see my green star. Oh, I didn't even pay attention to that, Tate, and I'm not gonna lie. I can look. I'll check after the live and let you know. But I think you're still on, right? I think you should be. You just sent a flick in Discord. I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna check. I'm gonna check on Discord. I got you. We said I also need more RAM. Hopefully I can get that for our collab coming up. Both live jazz for okay. See, yeah. Okay. Bet. All right. Just let me know the timetable on it, Lee. Let me know how things are looking. That would suck if I had to start over at Blue because of that. I don't think you should. Because you've literally been a member for 2 months. Manny, I appreciate that, man. I'm just saying this now. I'm glad that you're here. And with any luck, you'll stay with us. You said what made you a Jazz fan? The trade that brought. Okay, so I was one of those. I just read your next guy, MKG. Huh? Give me my back. No, that got me. I became a Jazz fan because obviously I love Collin Sexton, right? I watched him since he was in high school when he burst out on the scene and the EYBL circuit. Like that was when Home Team Hoops did his documentary. I was watching those things religiously. like all the time, and they were fire. So that was a big thing. I followed him as a player. I loved him in Cleveland. I understood why Cleveland picked Darius Garland over him. It was the correct decision for them to do. And once the Jazz wanted him in the trade, they were like, "Hey, we want this guy." Not just, "Oh yeah, you can add him to the trade." No, they wanted him. I was like, "Oh, bet." So I guess I'm watching Jazz games now. Like I've always defended Rudy Gobert for one. Like once he got that $200 million contract, everybody's like, "Bro, he's the most bagless player in the league." And I was like, I mean, fair, but at the same time, if he's forcing opponents to shoot 15% underneath what is average, that's nobody else is doing that. So you have to pay him. That's more value. You can find scores. Anybody can score the basketball. Everybody can't lock people down at the rim. A layup and a dunk are supposed to be the easiest shots in the game. You mean to tell me he's making people miss those 15% of the time? Word to Geico. That's crazy. 15% or more? Pay the man. And so I was always a defender of him. But once they traded for, Collin Sexton, and then Lauri was there as well, I was like, if you believe in those guys like that, I'm going to watch the games. And so I watched the games, and I came to love them a lot more because of that. And then also when I started doing my channel, this was actually a general channel. So I have another channel that I'm going to make my main channel. It's just the Wraith Hoops. I haven't really put any videos up yet, but I'm going to do a video every Friday on that channel. But this channel was originally supposed to be like that. But what happened was I would post videos about the Sixers, about the Lakers, about the Celtics, and those videos really wouldn't get a lot of views. But then every time I posted about the Jazz, all the Jazz community were like on it, right? I would get like 100, 200, 400, 500. And I was like, well, and then you guys would also comment in the comment section. I was like, well, if they're appreciating the content I'm making, I'm not going to make videos for the Celtics fans if they're not going to engage with me. I'm going to make videos about the people that actually care that I'm making videos. So that's what I did. And so ever since then, like I was like, how can I make my experience different? I can make videos about the Jazz, talk about Fontecchio, talk about Markkanen, talk about Collins, talk about Sexton, talk about all these guys that are doing good, talk about the guys that are doing bad, talk about trades, talk about draft stock, all this stuff. I could do that. And I was like, but that really wouldn't be enough, I don't think. Like I need something that's going to help push me ahead. And so I was thinking about it, and I was like, live streams. So I started live streaming, and like Lee, Logic, Tayton, Zach, like a bunch of these boys was in here like in the very beginning. Like if you go back on all my live streams, like back when I was getting like 70-ish, like total throughout the entire live, but like concurrent probably like 7 to 11-ish. Like they were spamming the comments. We was just talking back and forth, and that's how I really like kept going with it, and that's how I got to where I am now, honestly. So without any of those boys, I wouldn't be here. Not gonna lie. Hornets is just turmoil. It's a dumpster fire being fueled by management of the Hornets. I'm sorry for your pain. Hey, man. It's one of those things where, like, once you've experienced the Hornets being bad, there's really nothing worse than that except for, I guess, the Pistons. But at one point, they had Andre Drummond, and they felt really good. Jazz Nation, man. We went nuts on this Jazz face. God makes his way his last name. Literally and figuratively. Be for real, Zach. Management uses lighter fluid on a dumpster that is Charlotte Hornets. Literally. I've already legally changed my son's name to Collin Sexton. Single-handedly tarnished MJ's career. For real. MJ could not manage them. Like, I found out he was a terrible one for that. Yeah. Jazz fans are a passionate bunch for sure. Didn't really love him enough to do it. Hoops Nerd is kind of cringe lately. I haven't seen him recently. I'm not going to lie. I see how often he uploads, and that's it. I'm not going to lie. I'm one of those. Lesbian privilege. Sparkle, sparkle. Yeah, basically. He requested a trade from the restaurant. I had to. It was a business decision. I thought it over. I talked with my team, talked with my agent. It just wasn't the best for me, man. Food taps for sure. As a previous chef, can you confirm there ain't nothing fishy going on? I can. I've been in some that had issues, right? So I was the person where like I deal with everything. When I was a manager, you basically sent me to stores because I wasn't going to complain about the hours you needed me to work. 1 week I clocked 117 hours. Another one I clocked 106. The 117 was to see how far I could push my body. The 106 was because they needed it. But I worked long hours. I didn't care, right? I would work a double I would open and close the store. It didn't matter to me. Whatever you need me to do, I was going to do it. I would cover for people that didn't come in. I wouldn't push people too hard until they broke and quit. Like I was a awesome person to work with. I was a chill vibe, all that stuff. So they sent me to any store that really sucked. So I dealt with one store that had to get like bombed by the Eco Lab people. Like I don't know if y'all have it out there in Utah, but like it's like pest control basically. So like there was roaches in this one store, roaches. But they usually stayed out of sight during the store hours, but at night they would come out. So they had to bug bomb it like 3 or 4 times. And then there was another store that had mice, so we had to get mice traps for it. But the other 2 stores were pretty clean. The setups are also very different in the kitchen areas, I realized. And I think it's because the stores are built in different years. So that's part of it. But by and large, they're pretty clean. I'm not going to lie. Somebody I know really well, when people would treat the cashiers rudely at the window, because mind you, a lot of the cashiers, when you think of fast food, you think of like teenagers working there. Like they would treat just the sweetest, shortest girls at the window so rudely, and somehow their food would find its way onto the floor and then back into their box and inside their car. Treat people the way you want to be treated. That's the biggest lesson I learned from that job. Leon said my wife's boyfriend agrees. I'm weak. Wait. Hold on, Leon. You mean to say my wife's husband agrees, right? I think that's what you meant to say. How has it been 2 months already? Man, Lee, we've been making motion. Is there a Discord? I can share the link. For sure. Remind me to do it. Or if what's his name? Who's in there? One of y'all are in the Discord too. No, actually a lot. Like 6 of y'all are. It's kind of dead, but like it is a Discord every now and then. I've been trying to find a channel membership for like 4 days now. Yeah, it's a PC thing. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm not. I'm gonna fix my big account. No, you good. Yeah, I'll check though. But yeah, you're good. I rectified by throwing out a 10. Sorry, building. I could do whatever I could try and settle my frustrations and do the same thing in defragging my laptop and get more RAM. Still want to take a hammer to it though. No, I understand. Appreciate you, Derek. Derek be clutch too. Like Lee is a top donor. Like Lee has kept me on life support for a minute there. So did Derek too. They're the reason why I was able to get this mic upgrade, and then as well as the jerseys behind me. Definitely. Look more energetic today? I don't know, Freddie. I'm feeling myself. The past few days I've been in a really like good mood, like content creator wise. You know, work to Geico is crazy. yeah, low key. It was so perfectly placed. I had to do it. Zach should be around. His name was sub button. Yeah. Didn't let me get my membership on my phone. I had to do it on my laptop. I'll look though, Tate, and I'll definitely look. Not that much. All the other options there. I'm gonna try tomorrow on PC. For sure. Hey, Clipper Boys, we have proof that we are the OGs. Facts. Once he hits 1 million. Fingers crossed. One day. It was between 4 and 15 viewers back. I'm glad you're growing. Yo, that's real. Realistically, I don't need more than 100 viewers, like 100 concurrent viewers. Realistically. Like, I think that would be like really good. Like, I could never have like 1,000 people in a live because I don't want people to feel like they're not seen when they comment stuff. And then I have to be live for like 6 hours every time, just like reading, making sure I get to everybody's comment. So like, I feel like if I hit 100, I think that would be enough. Like, definitely for sure. Lee, Tay, and Logic. Yeah. I'm still a fan. Hey, Cam is one of the funniest people ever. I've never met Cam in real life, but I know Cam is a real life funny because he's also internet funny. It's hard to be both. I know he's both. Y'all got me beat, LOL. But y'all can always bring the support when I can. Yeah. Think they should start Walker Kessler. I think what they're doing right now is working, so I would hesitate to do it. Now, there's going to be certain matchups against certain bigs where I would say start Walker over John. But right now, what they're doing with John is actually low-key smart, and I really like the way that it's playing in their favor. So I would say keep things the way they are. And usually Walker Kessler has a really good box plus minus regardless. In the minutes that he plays as well, despite not seeming to put up. Despite not putting up the most insane stats. By the way, he had 5 blocks today. I don't know if anybody peeped. I didn't do the thing I usually do. Usually I read through the stats, then I go to comments. I just jumped into comments at the beginning. He had 5 blocks today, so Yeah, yeah. Safe to say he's pretty effective off the bench. You know? You see. Yeah, dog. 40 people concurrent is nutty, man. Pretty sure hard work gonna like they're doing cartwheels. Yeah, Kevin, no window get that twisted. For real. I'm not. Nah, he meant boyfriend. I hope he didn't. I gotta join the Discord. I have not known about this Discord. I'm gonna look. It might actually be in my check my bio. Check my bio right now. I think I added it to it, but I have to update the code every 10 days. I think it expires every 10 days. So I have to keep updating it. But I'm gonna share it in here too. Damn, I keep forgetting to get on live on my PC. Become a member, I'll do it for sure. Hey man, in due time. Not close, keep it distant. Lakers beat the Thunder twice this year. Crazy. First time viewing. You talk about the Jazz game or did I miss it? Hey, perfect timing, Elliot. So what happened was we talked about the Jazz game a little bit. I didn't do what I normally do. So usually the breakdown is, everybody welcome Elliot. We're glad to have you here. So what I usually do is I'll usually read out the numbers at the very beginning of my stream, and then we'll just talk about what we saw during the game, different things we like seeing, and then we'll end the stream usually talking about like the upcoming schedule as well as just what the future expectations are for the team. And then sometimes we'll just get into just banter about everybody's lives, just checking up on everybody, just because like we have the time to do that and the luxury to do that. Now, that said, 15-4. Whoo, beautiful. That said, he said, "Can I call you Ellie?" So what we are going to do now, actually, I'm going to go ahead and go through these numbers real quick. We've actually been live for a minute. I thought I was only going to be live for like 30 minutes, but we had a good one today, boys. So I'm about to run through these real quick. We held them to 40% shooting from the field, 29% shooting from three. They were 38 for 95. We were 55.6% from the field and 44% from three. We were 45 for 81. So we took 14 less shot attempts and hit 7 more. From three, we hit 2 more than them, but we attempted 6 less. They were 9 for 31. We were 11 for 25. From the free throw line, we attempted 10 more and we hit 11 more. They were 20 of 25. We were 31 for 35. Offensive rebounds, they had a lot. I'm not going to lie. They had 18 to our 10. 4 of ours came courtesy of the one and only John Collins. 2 of them were Lauri's, and the rest were sprinkled in from Collin, Sexton, Chris Dunn, and Walker Kessler alongside Kelly Olynyk. Now, from defensive rebounds, we ended up having 36, outpacing their 25. But they out-rebounded us. We actually out-rebounded them overall, 53 to 49. So a pretty narrow one. Right. The only person with double-digit rebounds was Lauri Markkanen, hitting him with a double-double overall this game. From an assist standpoint, we were pretty decent. Not our finest day from an assist, but we outpaced them. We had 27. They had 20. They had 27. We had 29. Chris Dunn had 6. Collin, Sexton had 5. Lauri had 3, which is rather uncharacteristic of him, but I loved it. Right. Keyonte had 5 off the bench. And Jordan Clarkson actually had a pretty modest game today with 2. Kelly Olynyk did slip in 4 right there, though. That said, we had 5 steals to their 9, which was a little bit worrisome, but it's okay. It's okay. And the lead steals holders for us were obviously Chris Dunn and surprisingly Jordan Clarkson, showing a little bit more tenaciousness on defense today. Block-wise, we saw Chris Dunn have 1. We saw Walker Kessler have 5. We saw Ochai have 1, and then Kelly Olynyk have 1. By the way, Walker Kessler did that in 25 minutes, so half the game, 5 blocks. Crazy stuff. The fact that he can do that, and realistically, at his peak, I think he could average 4-ish plus blocks a game, low-key. Now, block-wise, we ended up having 8 to their 4. Turnover-wise, we did have 1 more than them. We had 14, right, which wasn't terrible, but a little bit on the higher end for us more recently, at least. They had 13 to our 14. Personal fouls, they had 31. We only had 17. As far as foul trouble went, Kelly Olynyk again had a rough night. He did have 4 personal fouls in just 16, almost 17 minutes. That said, Fontecchio had 8 points. Lauri had 32. Collins had 10. Sexton had 30. Chris Dunn had 4. Clarkson had 17. Keyonte had 19. Walker had 4. Abaji and Kelly Olynyk finished it out with 4. And then Luka and Omer both came in for about almost 3 minutes, respectively, had 3 rebounds between the two of them. Their box plus minus, though, was a +7. The only person with a negative box plus minus was actually Kelly Olynyk, which is interesting this time around, considering that this just seems like another run-of-the-mill game for him. But Ochai was a +5. Walker Kessler was a +7. Jordan Clarkson was a +6. Keyonte was a +13, which is really good for him, all things considered, considering how he usually is. Chris Dunn had a really high one. He actually had the third highest on the team at a +21. Collin Sexton was a +14. John Collins was a +13. Markkanen was the best on the team with a +25 after playing the most minutes in the game at 28.5. And then Fontecchio was second best on the team with a box score plus minus of a +22. And you guessed it, they won 132-105. It was a great effort all around. All around. He said game watch parties every once in a while on Discord would be dope. I have to figure out how to do it, but I definitely would be down for it, for sure. So this guy, is it weird? I wish Tyrese played. I always wanted to take a W, but all-star players out feel like cheating. I don't know. A win is a win, though. Yeah, I'm a big a win is a win guy, especially considering the way that the season started. But now that we're like dead even, I want most of the wins to be quality. I'll take any W we can get, right? I just don't want to get like absolutely blown out. Like that would be nasty. I don't want to get blown out in any games. But like by and large, if we can have just like steady ones, I'm fine with that. I'm pretty fine with that. Like a tough loss to a really good team would be acceptable. But yeah, for sure. For sure. Hope he gets better, though. He's been balling, one of my favorite non-Jazz players. Yeah, for sure. He plays the game at such a high level. You can't make it up. Love to see Collins and Keyonte in the plus, for sure. Logic, he made it to Discord. Awesome. Yeah, Tyrese and Dame are my two favorite non-Jazz players. I can understand that. Yeah, for sure. Who had a really good game? I heard Buddy Hield's on the trade block again. We'll see if he actually gets traded this time, though. Dang. They had 2 people with positive box plus minus. Crazy stuff. -24 for Buddy Hield, Jalen Smith, -28, Miles Turner's -8. 5 personal fouls in 17 minutes is crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Haliburton got me one more syllable than his name. Shallow Jazz issues I have. I miss the city jerseys. Low key. Nah, you're talking with that one, Chris. I'm with you. He's not getting named job by any rappers or anything. Haliburton. Yeah, I was trying to think of a bar that would include Haliburton, and I was like, I don't know. I just came across your channel. What's your favorite jazzy? Yo, Zach the fool. My favorite Jazz jersey. I do kind of. These have grown on me a lot, but I have to say this is different. This is different. You like the originals, can't go wrong with them. But that's tough. Like it's hard to make purple look good on men. Like that's a good one. I don't hate it. Like it's highlighter, but like I'm like in motion, like in the game, I didn't hate it. Let me put it that way. Like it's kind of weird, but like this was raw. This is raw. I have to say. Derek said I got to get some sleep for work tomorrow, but I'll be back. Good morning, good evening, good night. Stay jazzy. Hey, yes sir, Derek. Get some rest, brother. Yeah, I saw the perp in person. It looks so good. Phone screen doesn't show it. Oh, it doesn't. What? Also, the graphics they got in the stadium look fire with the jerseys. For sure. Most definitely. For sure. Not wearable, but yeah. I mean, like, it doesn't have. Ah, okay. Okay, I got you. Just make our city jersey on top of our jersey like a regular season. That would be nice, but the things that make sense don't always get the most appreciation. Hmm. For sure, for sure. Hmm. And I did this with no Monster. I did this with no energy drink whatsoever. We had a good one. We had a good one today. The yellow and blacks are so clean. Honestly, the yellow in general for a brand is nice. Jerseys need redos, but the colors are coming like Watch party for games is possible on Discord. Not sure about all the things, but you'd have to screen share in the chat. Okay, so it would be possible, and I wouldn't get in trouble. If I wouldn't get in trouble, then it'd be okay. I'd definitely do it. No bevy is wild. But I wasn't eating though. You didn't see me eating no chips or nothing today. I was pretty good. Man, I look good today. Hold on. I need to line up again, but line up, my hairline's receding right there, Oh, I'm only 23. It's okay though. It's okay though. When you look at our yellow compared to the Lakers gold, I like her. I'll take her yellow. Yeah, for sure. Not sure. Not to get in trouble. I mean, if I don't stream it, I think I'll be okay. I don't think anybody's gonna like hunt. Oh, but you know what? I realized because one time I tried to do a screen recording on my phone when I was watching on the NBA app, and it actually like blacked out the screen. Like it wouldn't let me screen record. So that would be an interesting thing. But I'll look into it. Just don't record it and post it. Yeah, for sure. If anybody from any actual branch is looking at this wondering if I'm about to sit here and pyrite a stream of the NBA game, I would never. First of all, that's just foolishness. We were just saying in theory, if you were to do something of the sort, how exactly one would go about doing it, you know? He said, bro, you chilly, you don't got that THT hairline. Hey. I can shoot if you wanted. I can see you the league, but I would never, ever, ever do that. Yeah, of course not, Zach. Why would we do that? Yo, here goes Cam. I will commit crimes for you, bro. We'll do whatever. Skylar, what's up? The Jazz played great tonight. Absolutely. Everybody was on 10,000. Everybody was on their P's and Q's. Everything was really just on top. He said, yo, Cam's a real one. Everybody was really just on their A game today, right? Defensively, things were going well. Obviously, we benefited from Tyrese Haliburton not playing, but outside of that, guys just played quality basketball the entire game. There was not a moment where you thought the Jazz might have not been in control of the game, honestly. Like after the second quarter, they kept piling it on until the game was over. Getting Miles Turner in foul trouble definitely did wonders as well. Captain Cam, Team Pirate, best role of the team, honestly. Deep Pirate, yes, sir. Can't believe who I trust to have my back for real at this point. Tyrese Haliburton kind of sucks. Kind of sucks is crazy. Tyrese Haliburton is he's the point guard though. Like the number of points he's responsible for in an offensive system is actually kind of insane. Like more than LeBron is actually crazy for real. And his efficiency is really good too. Like I saw, who was it? Somebody made a comparison between him and Chris Paul. And the video was actually like insane because they create a similar amount of points, but the thing was, what's his name? The shot selection type. Like when Chris Paul was in his prime and known as the point guard, he took a lot of mid-range shots, whereas Haliburton takes a lot of three-point shots, but their efficiency in both was just above league average significantly. And that was a very interesting thing. He said, forget I'll die for you. Kill me, I'll kill them. Team Pirate must be protected. Reincarnation of the pre-anti-vax John Stockton. Pre-anti-vax John Stockton is crazy. Oh, man. It's good stuff, though. It was definitely a vibe. For sure. real. And tell me what you wearing around your neck. What this? Oh, this is a pen. It actually spells my name. So it has hieroglyphs on it. I like what you call it? Like I used to love dinosaurs as a kid. What guy didn't love dinosaurs, you know? But I was really into like archaeology and stuff until I realized you made almost no money doing it and nobody believes your findings anyways. But like I liked ancient Egyptian like artifacts and stuff. Um so either a velociraptor or an ankylosaurus for a yeah. Just an armored tank with a club for a tail is fire. I can't explain it to you. But it basically spells out my name in Egyptian hieroglyphs, and it's not white gold, but it's like it's silver. It's silver. It does tarnish though. I mean, I wipe it off. This other chain I wear almost 24/7. It's titanium, so it does like water doesn't affect it or anything, and that's why I wear it because it's like titanium is really bendable, malleable, but at the same time it doesn't break like that. So the idea behind the necklace is always bend but never break kind of thing. That's the motto. Um, yeah. Discord is a little dead. Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna lie, it is. I'm always all over the place, so I don't have the time always to keep it living. Um, but yeah, watch party should be dope. Though stream has got every man has a favorite dinosaur. Zachary asked the real questions. For real. Still stand up business when it comes to dinos. Me personally, give it. Ooh, wow. He said war chicken claws of death. I like it. I like it. And Allosaurus isn't a bad take though. An Allosaurus is not a bad take though. But correct me if I'm wrong. I don't believe those lived in the same time period as the T-Rexes. Because you had what? You had the Cretaceous. You had the bro. I used to have. I don't know if anybody had it, but there used to be a Magic School Bus disc. Like they used to have the Magic School Bus games. This is gonna make me sound low key old, but they had the Magic School Bus game disc, and one of them was like about them traveling back in time to be with the dinosaurs and stuff. And that game was fire. That game was fire. I kid you not. And like you traveled through the Cretaceous, through the bro. I can't remember the other two. I'm pissed right now. I'm so vexed. There was like it was just a really great game, really informational too, right? That was what my first introduction to dinosaurs. Big Raptors, baby Rex, that's real for real. G League of Raptors, if you will. Yes, the G League of Raptors. Next time Rafe looks at his Discord server, is gonna have like 30 of us in one chat. For real, for real. But that's good though. That's good. There he is. Predictable as always, you know. I'm gonna be talking about dinos for real. Yeah, and that's what the live streams always turn out to be. You know, shout out Elliot if you're still here. If you left, I also understand. But yeah, you know, this usually how the live stream goes. Going to bed, fellas. Y'all have a good night. Hey, about to be laying down myself, brother. So yeah, I'm behind you. Get some rest. And yes, I will see you on Wednesday. Absolutely. Bright and early, right after the game. Mm-hmm. It's Ellie. My fault. My fault. My fault. Yeah. See, we gained a family member, guys. Today was a successful stream. We converted one. Ha ha. Converted makes it sound like we're a religious cult. That's not what it meant. But yeah. But yeah, boys. Any final thoughts before I hop on out of here and lay down and knock out before I record a video? I think Sachin will have my video done today, or it's 1 p.m. Indian time. So that sounds racist. It's 1 p.m. in India right now. So I figure he'll have it done. So by the time I wake up, I think the Jordan Clarkson video will be done. If it's not, I expect it'll be done the next day. So either way, in the 2 days coming, it'll be that one. Cam newcomer, Cam, exactly. Real. There will be a video tomorrow, though, Zach. I promise. Well, I can't promise that because it's up to Sachin whenever he finishes. But it should be a video tomorrow. Yeah. But yes, you know, as predictable as it always is, Thank you, gentlemen, for there's Mac popping in at the last minute as he always does. Great live and great win. Hey man, glad to have you here, Mac. Glad to see you're still with us. Oh yeah. Thanks for as always, thanks for tuning into the live stream. Make sure to smash that like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, and become a member if you haven't already. I'm reading Pack Me. That said, just a lovely win today by the Utah Jazz, securing the W, obviously, against a Tyrese Haliburton-less, Pacers team, but nevertheless a still solid quality team. And being capable of doing that on a consistent basis is what makes us a quality team in our own right, and continues to build our case as we attempt to get back into the playoff picture. And beyond the playoff picture, getting into a solid seed that will require us to play extra play-in games just to solidify ourselves. With that being said, as always, I appreciate you guys tuning in this one. And as always, good morning, good evening, good night, no matter where you are on the globe watching. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you boys in the next one. Peace. Y'all are some fools. I'm glad that we have this type of camaraderie, though. I'll catch y'all on Wednesday or in Discord.